Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we will be talking about introduction to computer networking. This topic is basically for those participants or those people who wants to understand the basic of computer networks. So this session is for I would say for beginners, but if you already working on the networking field, maybe there are some gaps which can be filled with this lecture. So I would request all of you to stay with me till last, because in the last we do have a lab where I will uh, create a local area network, and I will show you how we can uh, create a basic computer networks and how they can interact or communicate with each other. In today's lecture, we will be talking about uh, on these objectives or points. The first thing would be introduction to networking, and then we will discuss the types of networks. We will also discuss regarding network devices, and IP addressing is the important topic of today's uh, session. And then in the last, we do have a practical lab where I will guide you how you can design a network and what are the basic steps which can be done if you want to design a network and if you want to create a small network or a big network. So we will discuss all these things. I will also introduce myself. My name is Kashif Ali, and I think some of you already know me, but for those who don't know me, so I belong to District Puner, and currently I'm doing my PhD in computer sciences. I'm also working in the US-based IT company Zones as an inside solution architect, and my specifically on virtualization technologies, and my expertise is in VMware technology specifically. I also deliver lectures in the University of Agriculture, Peshawar, and I'm the research committee member at UAT Peshawar. And since 2012, I'm training to different people, and almost I have trained around 10,000 plus students around the world, because I also conduct online sessions to different corporate people or to different students who wants to learn regarding the computer networks or system administration or VMware virtualization. I have also started delivering trainings on cloud computing, specifically AWS these days, and I'm also planning to add Microsoft Azure in my portfolio very soon, inshallah. If you want to connect with me, these are my details. I'm available on LinkedIn. I don't use X that much, uh, but I'm more active on Facebook and LinkedIn, so you can connect with me. I am also available on Instagram. I do have two accounts, so one for fun and one for study material. I upload my lectures to my YouTube channel, so you can go through that, and hopefully you will uh, learn something from there as well. So let's start from the basic of computer networks. So what is computer networks? In simple terms, a computer network is a group of computers and devices connected to each other so that they can exchange data. Uh, Sometime I also uh, say this definition that a computer network is a group of computers uh, which are connected through some media. It could be cable, it could be wireless, and they are allowed to share their resources. Like you have two computers, and one computer has a printer attached, and you share that printer to another computer. So this is also called computer network. Let's say you have two machines, and you have some data available on one machine, and you shared the folder of in that one machine and you access that folder from the other machine. So this process is also called computer networks. So a smallest network may only connect two computers. So let's say if you have two laptops and you want to exchange data, so that would be the smallest network. And the largest network would be like internet. You can say you are communicating with Facebook, Google, YouTube. These are also computers or services, and you are allowed to access those services from anywhere. So that is also an example of computer networks. Types of networks: local area network, WLAN, personal area network, wide area network, metropolitan area network. In general term, uh, mostly we say we have two types of network. One is local area network and the other one is wide area network. What is local area network? So let's say you have a small office and you have like 10 to 15 computers and you connect them with each other. So that is called local area network. What is WLAN? Wireless local area network. Basically, wireless local area network is same as local area network, but I would say without cable. So your home Wi-Fi network is also called WLAN. So if you removed the cables and you connect all those machines without cables using access point or any other wireless device, so that is called WLAN. What is personal area network? Personal area network is basically is also a type of LAN, but it is designed for very limited communication. So the best example is Bluetooth technology. Like if you have two mobile phones and you connect them through and you start sharing data using Bluetooth. So that is an example of personal area network. Wide area network. So internet is an example of wide area network. And metropolitan area network is also an example of wide area network. So we will discuss each of these points in details. So let's start with local area network. So a school lab with its 10 computers networked together is an example of a local area network. LANs can be set up in any defined area, such as home, a school, an office building. LANs are mostly like to be based on Ethernet technology. There are some points I would uh, recommend you guys to note those points, and after this session, you should search about those points. I will not be focusing on these topics today. My main topic would be IP addressing and the topic after IP addressing, which is the practical lab. So I will just give you a high level overview of these, and you guys are suggested to search about these topic and the internet. So I would also suggest that. Basically, these days, before Ethernet technology, if you remember, let's say if you have two machines and you want to connect them, so there was a cable called coaxial cable, and the connector was BNC connector, right? But these days you can see Ethernet technology is very common. So I hope you guys are uh, familiar with Ethernet technology. If not, let me just show you here. Let me open the browser, and where is that? Ethernet technology. So Ethernet technology consists of these cables, the twisted pair cables, and these are the connectors called twisted pair cables. I would also recommend uh, that you guys search about the types of twisted pair cable. There is straight cable, crossover cable, rollover cable, and there are a lot of stuff available in the internet regarding how you can make these cables. These days, I mean, when I was learning this technology, so our instructor also uh, taught us that how to build, how to make this cable, how to make this cable. So we were able to make these cables, and there were a tool called crimping tool, I believe. The name is crimping tool. So you guys can also search for it, and you guys can see regarding the twisted pair cable, right? So that is the example of local area network. Wireless local area network or a wireless LAN is a network that allows devices to connect and communicate wirelessly. This is very important, wireless. I do have a session coming up next week, I think on starting from Tuesday to Friday. It is a 4-day workshop happening here in Peshawar at Corelinks Institute. So if you are interested to learn wireless technology, so we have arranged a boot camp where we will discuss regarding how we can design a wireless network, and all the 8 hour session is basically based on a practical lab. So you will learn how to design a wireless local area network, and that is very important these days, because even in your universities, you can see, if you want to connect with the network, so you don't use cables. They provided you the wireless facility, and you connect to their resources without cable, using Wi-Fi, right? So that is also the example of wireless local area network. So wireless local area network is also very important if you want to learn the network technologies. So wireless technologies are also very important to understand the concept of how computers connect without cables. Personal area network. So as we discussed, that PAN is the computer network that connects computers, devices within the range of an individual person. A PAN typically involves a computer, phone, tablet, printer, PDA, and other entertainment devices like speakers, video game consoles, etc. So these are the examples of personal area network. Here, I will also mention another thing, uh, especially, and if you get some time, I would suggest you to search about storage area network as well. So, storage area network, I forgot to add that slide in my presentation, but you guys can take a look of storage area network as well. So, basically, storage area network uh, is also needs to be understand if you wants to understand the concept. Let's say you have a network and you have 100 users, and in that network you have a web server, a file server, a database server. So people are communicating with those servers, and obviously those servers has some users data. So in production environment, we don't use local devices, local storage, because what if this server goes down? So no one will be able to access the data stored on this server. So for that, for high availability, for some other features, shared storage is very important. And for shared storage, what is shared storage? There will be a box. If you write here, storage array, this is a box, storage array. So these are the boxes which has multiple physical disk, and your storage administrator will configure this, and you will connect all your server hardwares to this storage device, and all the data will be stored here. And to access the data, we create something called storage area network, storage array, storage switches. So if you find some time after this lecture, so I would suggest to read about storage area network components, right? and you will get the idea that there are storage switches, storage adapters, which is also called host bus adapter, and the storage array, right? So I would also suggest that you should also read about storage area network. We do have another type which is called wide area network. So a wide area network connects computers and other resources that are miles or even continents apart. Just like the in Pakistan, I would give you an example of banks. You can see there are different banks, right? So let's say we will go for Mizan. So Mizan head office is, for example, in Karachi. And I think in every city you will see there are branches available and they are connected with each other. So that is also an example of wide area network. So the most well-known wide area network is the internet, which may cover the entire globe, right? It covers large distance for communication between computers. So wide area network. And metropolitan area network is an example of wide area network, a subtype, I would say. So it is larger than LAN but smaller than WAN. And inside university, you can see different campuses are connected with each other, right? So a metropolitan area network is a computer network that usually spans a city or in a large metropolitan area. There is also another example called campus area network. There are subtypes, but if someone asks you what is computer networks, so you can answer that a group of computer connected through some media and they are allowed to share their resources is called computer networks. And LAN and WAN are the two types of computer network. So that could be the simple answer from your side. So before we start the other portion, which is networking devices, I would pause for a while. And if you have any question, you can ask me. You can post your question in the chat box, or you can simply unmute yourself and you can ask me question.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam.
To differentiate between network and networking.
Uh, what did you say? Networking and
Network.
network. So networking is the process, I believe. Let me. Okay, one more thing. Yesterday I was attending one of the session and you can see here. Network is a technical term that relates to connectivity. And networking is an interpersonal skill that involves developing professional relationships. So in this definition, they mentioned that networking, this is not the IT networking. They just mentioned that interpersonal skill that involves developing professional relationship. Like you can say some people arrange some sort of events and you go there and you interact with some people. So that is the also called networking. And network is a technical term that relates to connectivity infrastructure such as the internet. Your voice is very low, Mr. Irshad.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, any other question? I think I should move forward. One more thing. Uh, start using, if you want to be a good IT professional. So the most important thing is you should be able to search, right? Start using Google. These days, you can see Chat GPT is very common. That can help you, right? So if there are any doubts in your mind, so the best practice is to search it, right? Instead of uh, asking someone. So the best practice is to search it. So this way, your searching capability will be you will be strong, right? So searching is very important. So another topic is networking devices. What is networking devices or network devices? Basically, these are, let's say, if I ask you to connect five computers with each other, right? So let me open my whiteboard. Let's say I ask you that you have these five computers and I want you to connect these five computers. This is computer number one. This is computer number two, computer number three, four, and five. So if someone asks you, what are okay, let me ask you a general question. If I ask you to design a network for me, what will be the first step you will do? If I ask you to connect five computers, what will be the first step? Mr. Hamza Habib, I think you
So,
want to say something. Yes, wa alaikum assalam.
sir, you say about wireless network or wire network connection between this?
So I got your point, Mr. Ikram. Basically, the first thing would be to
Yes.
get the requirements, to
Yes.
visit there, see the area, right?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and
sir.
then decide. Yep. So the survey is important, the prerequisite. Give me 1 minute, guys. It's Azan time here. So basically, if you want to connect five machines with each other, the first thing is you should have nodes, and in each computer there should be a device called network interface controller. Then you need a device called switch or hub, which provide connectivity, which connects multiple computers with each other. Because in our laptop we have only one Ethernet port. So if you want to connect three computers with each other, so you should connect each machine to the switch, and then the switch can connect those computers with each other. Okay. Uh, I have a request to speak Urdu, but this session is basically my online training session. So we started Microsoft System Administration training 2 weeks before, and I have some students from different countries. They will hopefully join soon. Our class timing is basically 7:30, but I requested them that I will make this session available for public so that everyone can understand the basic of computer networks. But inshallah, in future, I will also arrange a webinar for those students who speaks Pashto or Urdu. So, but this is basically a part of my Microsoft System Administration training. So yesterday we delivered one lecture and this is another lecture. So I requested them that I will make this session available for public. Uh, let's see. But if you have any doubt, you can ask me question. I will try to answer your question in Urdu. Okay. So let's start with network adapters. I think you guys are familiar with this. these devices. And as you can see here, uh, this is basically the old technology, and this one is the latest technology. This is the Ethernet technology. You can say RJ45 cable connector, sorry. And this is basically the BNC connector. And if you have 5 computers and you do not want them to connect with cable, so you can install these wireless network adapter on each machine, and you can connect them using access point, the Wi-Fi device. So that is also a type of network adapter. Normally in our laptop, we have 2 types of network adapters. One is Ethernet and the other one is wireless network adapter. Uh, I will also suggest all of you to read about MAC addresses. That is important topic related to this network adapters. MAC address, you need to understand what is MAC address. You also need to understand the types of Ethernet network adapter, like what is Ethernet, what is fast Ethernet, what is Giga Ethernet. So you need to understand these terms, right? So you can search about these things after this session. Read about these one, right? And also check that what is the highest speed adapter, Ethernet adapter available in the market. So you can also search about it. And if you want to search more about, so you can also search about Ether channel, right? Or port aggregation. So read about these terms as well after this session so that you have understanding of network adapters. So these are basically the devices which are connected to our computers and which allow our computer to connect to the network. Let me give you example of your mobile phone. You have a smartphone and you want to connect your smartphone with the Wi-Fi network. So in your smartphone, there should be a network adapter. I think there are network, uh, I don't know what are those devices called, but in computer, we call it network adapter, right? So these are the devices which connects our computer to the network. What is a repeater? Let's say you have 2 computers. You have computer number 1. My mouse is not working properly today, so my handwriting will be very bad. And you have computer 2, and you want to connect these 2 computers with each other. So you can simply use cable, but the cable has a limitation. So let's assume that 100 meters is the limitation. So, and these computers are away from each other and the distance is more than 100 meters. So what we can do, we can install and we can put something called repeater, and you can plug one cable here, and on the other side, you can plug another cable, right? So, and this is how you can connect these 2 computers with each other. And these computer will be able to communicate. Okay, I just uh, realize that I should also mention you that you should read about OSI layers as well. And if someone asks you, repeater is which layer device? So repeater is a layer 1 device, right? Network adapter is also a layer 1 device. So you should also search about OSI layers and what is this model, and this will also help you to understand the basic concepts of computer networks. Uh, you might you may need a wireless repeater. I think day before yesterday, one of my students sent me a message on WhatsApp, and he asked me that in university hostel, the the Wi-Fi network signals are very poor, especially in their room. And they were asking me that what should we do now? So what they can do, they can install repeater on one of the location, and repeater will extend the wireless signals for them. So let's say if you are in the house and there is a Wi-Fi router, but in some area the Wi-Fi signals are very weak, so you can install repeater and you can uh, extend your wireless network. There are special type of devices also available. If you search about wireless repeater, so you may find some of the product. These are different wireless repeaters available. And you can also convert your Wi-Fi device, the access point. So if you, let's say you purchase access point, right? And when you purchase access point and when you log into the access point, you can also convert your access point into repeater. There are different moods available. So when you log into that device, you will see different options there. And it will ask you which mood you want to enable for this device. So you can select gateway, you can select access point, you can select wireless ISP, you can select repeater, you can select bridge, depends on your uh, network scenario, right? So that is the story. Okay, who is writing? Any question, guys? Looks like someone is writing. So, okay. Now, let me move forward. Hub and switch. These are two devices, right? So, normally whenever I teach this subject, I always open Google and I simply write hub versus switch. In this, and I use one of the diagram from here. So let me use the same method here. So let's say I will go for this one. Let me copy this and let me paste it here. So if you want to connect multiple computers with each other, you have two options available. Option one, you can go for hub, or option two, you can go for switch. Hub is the old technology, but these days we use switches in our networks because of the nature. You know, hub is not intelligent. If you connect computers with hub doesn't know the information about these computers. As we discussed that each machine has a MAC address. So when you connect computer to switch, there is a table called MAC address table, and switch has the information of each machine. So let's say switch port 1 has MAC address 2 machine, MAC address B machine, MAC address A. So if one computer wants to communicate with the other one, so switch has the information available. So it will allow computers to communicate one to one, but hub will always broadcast the messages. We can also implement port security in the switch, but hub doesn't have that facility available, right? Mostly in switches, we have giga Ethernet port switches available. We have 10 gig switches available, but hub mostly are designed to allow you to communicate uh, through 10 MB or that one. Yep. Thank you, Hamza. So you can search about these two topics as well. You can search about hub and switch. And you can also search about switch MAC address table, and maybe you find something. This is one of the screenshot, and you can see where is that screenshot. Let me show you. This is the screenshot. Show MAC address table. I think I do have a computer available with Cisco Packet Tracer installed. Uh, one more thing. Uh, Although this is a Microsoft training, but I would also recommend that you can go to Cisco Net Academy. Let me see if I'm able to log in. And there you can find some free trainings there. The basic networking essentials and all these things. So you just need a free account. They will not charge you. You can log in there. It's been a while, so I forgot my uh, credentials. So if I'm not wrong, this training is free, 65 hours training. I will double check again, but seems like to me this training is free and you can go for it and you can learn something from here. See here. Very good content. Module 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think it's a total. I should also go for this training again to see if there are some new things there. So module 939. So these are the training. I will also double check if this training is freely available or some sort of uh, payment you need to pay, but let me send you the link of this. So this is also very important. You need to understand the basic networking essential. This is very important. Basic concepts are very important. So I hope you will search about this training and also you will search about the MAC address table and all these stuff. So if whenever I teach hub and switch topic, I also go to Google and find some diagram and I explain the diagram to the students. Another network device is bridge. So let me use my whiteboard. Pen is my whiteboard. So let's draw a diagram. Let's say you have hub. Why do we use a hub? Because a switch is better than a hub. Okay. So let's say I'm in the past. Let's say I'm before the era of switches. Switches are not introduced yet. And we only have hub available. And we want to connect computers with each other, right? So I have PC 1. Let's assume that switches are not introduced yet. And we are in the hub era. And we got 3 computers connected with hub. So let's say this is our small network, right? Let's say, let me also write something here. Wakas, I think yes or no. I think some people might have used it, but since these days I'm only focusing on the system administration and the virtualization and cloud technologies. So we only play with virtual switches now. It's been a long time I work on the physical devices. So uh, let's say this computer MAC address is A, and this computer MAC address is B, and this computer MAC address is C. Computer 1 wants to communicate with computer number 2, right? So a packet, a frame, so which is why I'm suggesting you to search about OSI layer to understand frames and packets, right? So a packet or frame is going from this PC1 to hub, but hub does not have any information about the connected computers. So hub will broadcast the message. So a message will go to hub, and hub will then broadcast it to all connected devices. So the PC3 will ignore that message, but PC2 will respond, and this and again the message will be broadcasted to all connected devices. This is the nature of the hub. Okay, now let me give you a task. What if this is our small office of only 3 people are connected, but because of our business growth, we need to hire 2 more people. So we got another computer, we purchased another machine for them. So we got 5 computers now. But in our hub, only 4 ports are available. So as a network engineer or as an IT expert, what will be our strategy? What I will do, I will go to market and I will purchase another hub like this. And I will connect the 2 computers to that hub, which is my second hub, and they will be able to communicate with each other, but I want them to also communicate with these computers, so I will also connect hub 1 with hub 2. Now, what is the problem of this scenario? So, what we can do, Irshad, I will answer your question after this topic. So, let's say computer 1 wants to communicate with computer 2. So, when the hub 1 receive the packet or the message, it will broadcast it to PC2, PC3, and even it will broadcast it to hub 2, and then hub 2 will broadcast it to the connected devices, right? So if we increase the number of computers in a hub network, the network performance will be coming slow. So what we can do, we can install something, and that device is called bridge, right? So we can go to market and we can purchase a device called bridge, right? So we will purchase a device called bridge. Bridge is basically layer 2 device, just like switch. So let's say a bridge has 2 ports, right? And this machine MAC address is D and this machine MAC address is E, right? So what will happen? This is port number 2 of the bridge, and this is port number 1 of the bridge. So when we connect bridge or when we deploy bridge in our network, bridge will keep the information of all the connected devices. So if we log into bridge and if we check the MAC address table of the bridge, so in bridge, port 1 will have A, B, and C MAC addresses available in port number 1. In port number 2, in the table, D and E will be mentioned, that these 2 devices are connected to port number 2. Now let me start the same story again. PC1 wants to communicate with PC2, so hub will broadcast that message to PC2, PC3, and also to the bridge. But bridge is a layer 2 device. It will not forward the frame on this port or any other port. First, bridge will check the source MAC address, which will be A, the destination MAC address will be B, and switch a bridge will match these MAC addresses with the table, and bridge will find that I don't need to forward the frame on this port because both devices are connected on the same port. And this is how you can enhance the performance of the network by deploying bridge. So if someone asks you what is bridge used for, so you can say bridge is used for LAN segmentation. But after some time, hubs were replaced by switches. So when hub were replaced by switches, we don't need bridge anymore because we have switches available right now. So let's say I don't, instead of hub, we went to market and we purchased switch. So if you have switch available, you don't need bridge devices. You can simply remove this device and you can connect. My mouse is not working, so I'm using the laptop mouse today. So which is why my writing speed will be slow. So if you have switches available, then you don't need bridge anymore because switches are also intelligent device. They also have MAC addresses, so they will not broadcast all the traffic every time. So that is the story, right? Okay, this is one purpose of switch. Sorry, bridge. What is the other purpose of bridge? Let's say you have two buildings, right? I do have a workshop coming up next week, but unfortunately, that is uh, physical, or you will have to come to the academy for that. So let's say you have two buildings. One is building A and the other one is building B. So let's assume there is a road in between and you want to connect the computers which are here and you have some computers here. So you can also install a cable, but what if there is a BRT route and they don't allow you to install cables, right? For some reason. So what you can do, you can go to market and you can install a wireless device here, and then another device will be installed here, and um, you can configure bridging, wireless bridging, and you can connect both LAN, right? So that is something also possible. There are devices available, point to point devices. You can go to market, you can find such type of devices in Gulaji Plaza or any other plaza here. These are the devices. You can go there, you can purchase them, and you can install one device on one building and other device on other building, and uh, you can connect them even 16 kilometers, 12 kilometers, right? Depends on the devices and depends on your configuration. So if you search for this device, okay, I have some question. I will answer this after this slide. So you can see bridge is a network device that provides a connection between two local area network or two segments of the same local area network. So that is the story of the hub networks in the past, and this is the current story. Okay, let me go back to my whiteboard and let me answer some of your questions. So starting from Mr. Irshad. In villages, there is a big issue of network, specifically in Shangla, Buner. Can we use repeater virtually within RAI to access full internet signals? Basically, in Pakistan, or especially in Peshawar Karkhano market, you can visit there and you can ask them that I need a device which can boost my mobile network, cellular network signals. So I have heard from different people that the results is not good, but such type of device is available in the market. Can we use microwave and telecom sector? We can connect multiple sites through microwave. Yes, but I am not good in telecom sector, Sajid. But yes, this is something possible. And even in Pakistan, maybe you have heard about SNGPL. They have a telecom department and they have some telecom engineers and they have implement their own wireless network. So let's and their primary network is from PTCL. So let's say for some reason PTCL is not working, so they can utilize their wireless network. So yes, some people utilize that as well. Wakas has a question in Hub. If PCA send a message to PCD and bridge is layer 2 device, so it is allowed in, okay, got it. Yep. Again, uh, I think I removed that previous diagram, but let me show you, let me tell you. Let's assume that we have a bridge here and we have hubs here. And the question of Wakas is that let's say PC1 wants to communicate with PCD. Yep, it will be available, the communication. So the packet, the frame will arrive to bridge. Bridge will first check the destination MAC address will be on this port number 2 of the bridge. So bridge will forward the message, right? So that is possible. Okay, I think we have, okay. So let's go for access point. What is access point? Access point is a device that creates a wireless local area network or WLAN, usually in an office or large building. If you want to understand access point, I have a solution available for you. I have a lecture uploaded on my YouTube channel. You can go, you can watch there a WLAN creation topic. You can search for it. And another thing I found which I want to share with you guys is you can search TP-Link emulator. When you go to TP-Link emulators, right, you can search for a device and you can open one of the device, let's say this one. Maybe you can find the emulator. I worked on some of the emulator. Let's say I want to use this one. So when you open it, it will give you the interface of the wireless device. You can log in. Okay, let's see. Admin is the password. For example, I don't know if admin is the password. Yep. So when you log into the device, this is the device interface. So let's say if you don't have a wireless device and you want to uh, explore some of the options of this device or any other device. So emulators are available freely. You can, let's say I want to go for advanced options and then I want to explore some settings that how to assign IP address, how to configure the WAN interface, right? And if you want to go for wireless tab, where you can check the wireless settings, and then you can configure the guest network for a wireless users. And this is the another story, wireless schedule, right? Net forwarding, VPN server. I will Let me see if I can check the picture of this thing, this device. So this was the device which we accessed. This is the device which we were working here. So you can also use these emulator stuff and you can practice it. So if someone asks you what is access point, these are the devices which allows you to connect different devices like iPhone, Android phone. Sorry, I just mentioned iPhone because I'm an iPhone user. So mobile phone, tablets, laptops. It allows you to connect these devices without cable to the network. So you need to know about how to configure access point. I do have a workshop coming up, boot camp, 8 hours boot camp is coming next week. So if you are interested and if you are in Peshawar, I would recommend to join that as well. Another device is called router. A router connects different networks. So there is a course called CCNA. I would, if you want to become a network engineer. So Cisco is your first uh, vendor, right? There are other vendors also available in the market like Microtech, Huawei, HPE, Juniper, but I would suggest Cisco, right? And the training I would suggest is CCNA. So you can go for CCNA and you can uh, explore some of the options like what are these router used for, how to configure them, and all these things, right? It is a WAN device. So all the, especially the banks, the different universities, especially if they are connected, the different branches. So router is the main device. We do have another device called modem. A modem is a device that connects your home to your internet service provider. So I will also explain this thing in my practical lab, which is after a while. So we will discuss that. Another device is gateway. What is gateway used for? So when you go to market and you purchase these devices, right? So maybe you have found a device with WAN port. So it means that you can convert or use this device as a gateway. What is gateway? We will explain it in our practical lab. But gateway is also a device that combines the function of a modem and a router, right? So that is also another device. Uh, I will skip these topics, peer-to-peer, client server, and domain-based because it is too early to explain it now, and I will go to IP addressing topic directly. Let me take a 2-minute break. So our next portion is IP addressing. Basically, this topic is very important because we need to understand how computers interact with each other. So let's say if you have two computers or three computers, how they communicate with each other. And I always say this example to my student, and I think today is the good day because we have Bilal from Iraq, I believe. So he speaks Arabic, and we have some students they speak Pashto, and we have some students they speak Urdu. And if they want to communicate with each other, so I think no one will be able to understand each other because they speak different languages. So the same story applies here. So if you have multiple devices from different vendors, from HPE, from Dell, from IBM, and they want to communicate with each other, everyone will use its own address for communication or protocol. So I think this is not going to work. So IP address is the unique or the standard protocol, internet protocol. Just like English is the communicate language which we can, if we speak English, we can communicate almost to every country, people in the world, right? So IP address is this. You can consider that like the language of computer is our devices as IP addresses, just like in for a human we speak English, right? Uh, there are two versions of IP addresses. One is IP4 and IP version 6. And let me tell you the story of the IP version 4. Basically, uh, uh, history is important. If, let's say, if I was not a computer science student, I would be a history student. So history is very important. So if you can go to internet and you can say internet history, so maybe you can find some interesting things like that is the story. So, and I'm telling you, and I'm advising you guys, but I have never checked the history of the computer itself. So I may need to visit again and see the history, like the background of the internet. So you can go there and you can find it. But I can tell you some of the stories. Uh, I was reading an article and they mentioned that when the internet, uh, especially in Asia, the internet would start. Uh, let's say people were started using internet in the Asia, especially in China. They found that there are a lot of population, right? China population is more than other any other countries, like especially in Indonesia and India. We have more populated countries here in Asia, especially in South Asia. And you can see we have mobile phones, we have smartwatches, we have CCTV cameras, the ATM machines. So they all use IP addresses for communication. And I was reading an article regarding Norway people that they some also install chips uh, to track people, right? Just like the climbers when they are going to mount to climb the Mount Everest or K2, they use some sort of devices which also use the IP addresses for communication, right? So they realize that a time will come that IP version 4 uh, will be finished, right? We will no more have IP version 4 available for communication because of the population and because of the devices. So they started uh, working on IPv4. They divided IPv4 into classes. Then they uh, divided IP version 4 into two types, public IP address and private IP address. NAT concept was implemented, network address translation. Subnetting concept was implemented. After that, uh, VLSM concept was implemented. But again, the end and the ultimate solution was to go for another version. And finally, IP version 6 was implemented, were introduced, right? And because of the IP version 6, uh, Internet of Things technology is possible these days. Maybe you have heard about IoT. There are some free trainings available even on Cisco website. You can go there and you can search for Internet of Things. And I think in the latest version of the packet tracer, uh, let me see if I can skip this one. Okay, I think I need to put the ID for this one. So when you go to when you open the Cisco packet tracer, you will find some IoT devices as well, right? So Internet of Things. And Internet of Things is possible because of the IP version 6. In today's lecture, we will be talking about IPv4 only. That is our main concern today, an important topic. You also need to search regarding the IANA, Internet Assigned Number Authority. This organization is responsible for IP addresses allocation. Like I'm sitting here in Pakistan, Harihar is in India, Bilal is in Iraq, and we all wants to communicate with the world. So we need IP address to communicate. So we must contact IANA. And we cannot contact directly to IANA. IANA is divided into regions. These are the different regions. For us, we use APNIC, right? Maybe for Bilal, the region is different, but for me and Harihar or for us, we use APNIC, APNIC Asia Pacific Network Information Center. So let's start with IP version 4. What is IPv4? So I always start this topic by uh, writing this, that IP version 4. Okay, is my voice not coming to all of the people or just to Sajad?
It's
You
for me, the voice is clear.
okay? Okay, my maybe it's because of his connection issue. Okay. So whenever I start teaching IP version 4, I start like this. Like IP version 4 is a 32 binary numbers. It means that if I write binary number 01, so I can say 10101010, then I will write 01010101, 1111000, and 0010111. So these are 32 binary numbers. And I think if I ask you to give me your IP address, and if you start saying this, so it will be difficult to speak, right? So it is hard to, let me write another one. So when you write this, that this is my IP address. So I think it's difficult to write, difficult to assign it to computers. So they divided IP version 4 into 4 blocks, 4 portion. And each block consists of 8 bits. So let me divide these bits into 8. But again, it is difficult to write. So if you want to assign IP address to computer, instead of binary numbers, we use decimal numbers, right? Decimal numbers. So let's convert each 8 bits, right? We can also call it octets. So let's convert 8 bits. So I think you can simply go to, okay, let me see who, okay. I can simply write here binary to decimal converter, and I can open any converter and I can put binary to decimal. I can write 10101010 because we are converting only 8 bits. So it will give me the answer of 170. So instead of this, I can write 170. I can convert this one as well. But in some of the Cisco exams or in some scenario, they will not allow you to use these calculators. So you need to convert binary number into decimal using manual method, right? So there are different methods available, but I personally use this method. Uh, and let me show you. This is the method, decimal to binary or binary to decimal. Okay, so I should give it a title of binary to decimal, but let's say to convert a decimal number to of 172 to binary. Okay, I can write this. Uh, let me write all the bits here. Let's say I have 8 bits, 10101010. There is a formula 128, 64, 32. Sorry, I should write from the other side. But let me start it from here now. I already started. 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. So each bit has a value, right? Right? So these are you need to memorize these things, right? And maybe you can go to your mathematics teacher and they can explain you well, but let me write here. So, and let me also write one more thing here. Let's say this is 0. This one is also 0. This one is also 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 0 mean off. So if all the bits are off, the value will be 0. But in that case, we cannot write 0. This bit is on. So we will add the value of the on bits. So 1, 2 plus 8 plus 32 plus 128. So let me start it like this. 128 plus 32. 160, 160 plus 8 is equal to 168, and 168 plus 2 is equal to 170. So the same result which we get from the calculator, and this is the method which you can use. I wish I could have a pen so I could explain it as well, but you can also get the idea. I tried to explain it in the slide. You can read this. I will also share these slides in the PDF version, so you can have this lecture with you and you can take a look of this. So any question? Normally, if it is my on-site training, so maybe I would give you an assignment to you guys that, hey, take out your page and pen and convert these binary numbers into decimal. But since we have limited time, so I will move forward to the next portion. And let me tell you one story, especially here. The smallest possible value of an octet is 0. And the largest possible value of an octet is 255, which means that this is the format of IP version 4, and you can write from 0 to 255 in each octet. If I say that 300, 400, 500, 700 is my IP version 4, you should so if I say that this is my IP address, so you should say no, this is not the correct IP address. The correct IP address will be, the range will be between from 0 to 255, because each octet, each block has 8 bits. So uh, if we put all the bits in off mode, if we write off bits, so it will be 0. And if we turn on all the bits, so the result will be 255. So that is important, right? So this is the first portion of IP version 4. I divided this lecture into portions. So this was the first portion, right? So this was my first portion. In first portion, I explained that IP version 4 is 32 binary numbers, which is divided into 4 portions, and each portions, and we can write a value, or we can put a value between 0 to 255. We can write from 0 to 255, not higher than 255. Let's talk about IP version 4 classes. There are 5 classes, and you will be interacting with the three classes in your daily life, because D and E are reserved, right? So for enter communication, we only use class A, B, and C. And these are the ranges. How to identify the class of the IP address? So let's say this is my IP version 4, and this is portion 1, this one is portion 2, and this one is portion 3. The class identification is based on the first octet. So in the first octet, if we write a value between 0 to 127, let's say if I write 100, and if I write 200 here, and let's say 192 and 255, and if I ask you that which class IP address is this one, so you should check the first octet. So the first octet is value is between 0 to 127, right? So which is why this IP belongs to class A. And class B range is 128 to 191. Class C range is 192 to 223. And another thing I want to mention here, IP address starting from 127, if I write 127.0.0, or IP address starting from 127 are not valid. Why we are getting this thing? See here, network IDs cannot begin with 127 as the first octet. So in the first octet, you cannot write 127. Let me show you practically. I have this computer, another computer, and let me go to the networking. Let me try to assign IP address here. Let me show you. In my next lecture, we will discuss that how to assign IP address to computer, but let me show you here. This is one of my computer, and I want to assign IP address starting from 127. We are getting an error. IP addresses starting with 128 are not valid. Okay. And also they mentioned that please specify some other value between 1 to 223. Why not 225? The reason is IP class A, B, and C. These are basically used for enter networking, for unicast communication. Class D IP addresses are reserved for multicasting, and Class C IP addresses are reserved for research purpose. Are you getting my point?
Sir, can you give some example of about
Give
class
me
D and
one
E?
second. Let me inform my other students. I have a session at 9 o'clock, so I may need to move that session to 9:30 because I need some break as well. So just give me second. Where is that? Class timing 9:30 p.m. today. Okay. So class A, B, C can be used, right? Okay, I have a question. I will explain that question after a while. Okay. So in the first octet, we can only write up to 223. But in the second octet, we can write 127, we can write up to 255. Are you getting this point? So the rule is only for first octet. So let me repeat it. Basically, in my first portion, I discussed that IP version 4, I may need to change my mouse because it is not working properly today. Okay, I think it is working now. Give me 1 second. Let me change the font color. So, okay. In the first octet, I mentioned that IP version 4 consists of 4 blocks. And in each block, we can write up to 0 to 255. But in the second portion, I will change my statement and I will say in the first octet, we can only use a value between 1 to 2 to 3 except 127. And there are also some ranges which we cannot use, right? And then in the second or third octet, we can write 127 and all these stuffs, right? So that was the story. Let's start a practical lab and then I will answer your questions. Let's say I have a switch, right? Let's start a lab now. And I have computer 1 and this is my computer number 2, computer 3, 4, and 5. These are 5 computers. I want to connect them. So the first thing is we need switch and we need computers and they need to be connected. If you want to build this network, option 1, go to market and purchase switch and you need 5 or 3 computers to connect with each other, right? So, okay, give me 1 second. And other, for my students, especially, let's say if you are in the Cisco class, you can use Cisco Packet Tracer. You can also use VMware Workstation, where you can build your lab, like you can see here. I do have a Cisco Packet Tracer available, or you can install VMware Workstation on your computer or Oracle VirtualBox. Then you can see we have different virtual machines. So these are your computers. And each computer has a network adapter. You can power on this machine like this. And then you can power on the other machine and the other machine. And then you can assign IP address to each machine and then you can connect them. Just like you connect your physical machines, right? So the same story is here. Okay, so that is the story. So let me tell you one thing. Okay, think some people are discussing as well, so that's good. Let me write an IP address here and I will ask question from you guys. Let's say 200.150.10.3. So before starting this, let me tell you one thing. IP address consists of 2 portions. The one portion is called network portion and the other portion is called host portion. Network portion and host portion. If you want to create a local area network, there are some rules. And rules are network portion must be same and host portion must be unique, and all bits of the host portion cannot be on or off. Means 0 or 255 will not be there, right? On or off. So that is the story. In class A, now we have only 3 classes. In class A, we have 1 network portion and 3 host portion. In class B, we have 2 network portion and 2 host portion. In class C, we have 3 network portion and 1 host portion. Now let me ask you a question. What is the class of this IP address? Is it B or is it A or is it C? I need answer from you guys. Which class IP is this one? And let me also write this is my
This one is C class.
PC1, PC2,
Mhm.
PC3, 4, and 5. Thank you, guys. So this is class C IP address. It means that this is the network portion, and network portion and host portion. So if I want to connect PC1 and PC2, it is important that the network portion must be same. So and the host portion will be, for example, 4, right? And I will write 200, 150, 10.10, and 200, 150, 10.11, 200, 150, 10.78. And this is how you can build a network. And all these machines will be able to communicate with each other. But another story, all bits cannot be off. What is the meaning of this? It means that if I have to assign IP address, let's say 200, 150, 10.0. And let's say if I write 200, 150, 10.255. So PC1, PC4 and 5 will not be able to communicate. The reason is because in host portion all bits are off and in host portion all bits are on, right? So that is the basic rules. And that's it. And this is how you can connect your computers. We do have another lab as well, but just to give you an overview. Yep, you are right. Okay, let me give you a task. Okay, let me uh, ask you something from all of you. Can you tell me which computers can communicate with each other? Only 1 and 2 can communicate. I got a message from Sajad. Anyone else? Okay, class B. Okay, 1 and 2 only. Bilal, what's your thought on this one? This is, let's say, your exam, and they ask you that tell me which computers are able to communicate and which computer cannot communicate.
Sir, in fact, it's
1,
depend on
2, and
subject
5 can
maths,
communicate.
but
Mhm.
based on my knowledge, all of them can
Okay,
communicate.
let me tell you one thing. The first thing you need to understand which class this IP belongs to. This is class B address. So in class B, the first two needs to be same because these are the host, the network bits. So if you can see here, the network portions are same. So the one point is clear, right? You can see one point is clear. And all host bits must be different. So you can see here 10.3. So this one is 10.5, 10.0, 11.255, 50.50, which means that all the host portion of these computers are unique. So the second point is also valid. And now let's check the third point. And if you are looking to 0 here, but we can see 10 is available, so both are not 0. There are some on bits available. All bits are not 0, off. Some of the bits are on, some of the bits are off. So this machine can also communicate, this machine can also communicate, and this one as well. So it means in this diagram, all the 5 computers can communicate with each other. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. So all machines can communicate with each other because all the machines uh, are in the same class. Sorry, the network portion is same, the host portion is different. So that is the story. Now let's discuss the last portion of this topic, of the IP address topic. And let's move forward. We will wind up our session at 9:15, inshallah, because we started late and we had some breaks. So uh, okay, let's start with this story. Let's say we have a switch and we got PC1, we got PC2, PC3. These are the 3 computers, and I want to connect them with each other. So let's say I assign IP address to this machine 1.1.1. Okay. So I think I put the valid address, IP address. Correct me if I'm wrong. So can these machines communicate with each other?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, good. Okay, now these machines wants to communicate with the internet. They want to communicate with Google. So let's say this is the internet. This is the internet. We have Facebook, Google, and all these things. This is my internet, right? And if you want to connect to internet, you need to contact the internet service provider. In Pakistan, we have Nayatel, Storm Fiber, PTCL, right? So that is the story. So ISP is connected to the internet, and then they give you a device which we discussed already, and that is called, and that is called, let's say in Pakistan, we call it DSL modem. And there is a port called WAN port, and then you connect your network to the DSL, and you are allowed to communicate with Facebook, right? So this is the Facebook, right? YouTube, etc., etc. So you can communicate like this. So what is the problem here? What is the problem here? The problem is, what if there is another network like this, and they also use the same addresses like this. They have also DSL modem here, right? And they are also connected to another ISP. For example, this is different country, and they are also connected to the internet. But the problem is the IP ranges are same. There is no rules. So that is the problem. That was the problem actually. So
What do you mean by
rules were defined that if you want to communicate inside your network, right, you should not use these. Yep, you are right. You should not use any IP address. There are some rules available. So you need to understand that what is private IP address versus public IP address. So private IP addresses are used for internal communication, LAN, and public IP addresses are used for uh, public
WAN?
network, public communication like internet. So as you can see here, this is my private network. This one is also a private network, right? And this one is the red line network is basically the public network. So now the question is how we will identify that which IP address is public and which is private. So IANA define a private IP addresses, address ranges. For class A, the IP range is this one. For class B, this is the range, and for class C, this is the range. So all the other IP addresses, they are public addresses. So now let me ask you a question. This IP address, is this public address or private address? So you will check this list, and based on this range, you will say this one is private. So we can public. So we cannot use this one here. So I will remove these addresses from here. Because public IP addresses, they are not free. You will have to pay for it. So if you want to connect these machines with each other, you can write 10.0.0.1, let's say 10.0.0.2, let's say 10.0.0.3. So all these computers can now communicate with each other. But what if they want to communicate outside with the internet? So if we say, if we write, if we send a packet to Facebook, the source IP will be 10.0.0.1. The destination IP will be the Facebook IP address. But on the public network, only those packets will be travel which has both source and destination IP of public IP address. So in that case, what will happen? We need public IP address for this computer. And we also need public IP address for this computer. And we also need public IP address for this computer. So let's say you have 100 computers network and they all want to communicate with the internet as well. In that case, you will have to purchase public IP address for each machine, which is not possible and not a good practice. There is a method called netting, network address translation. Sorry, let me cancel it. Network address translation. Network address translation. This is a feature or method or technique which is enabled on your DSL modem. And you already know that when we purchase a DSL modem from ISP, the DSL modem has a WAN port, right? This one is a WAN port, which has a public IP address assigned. For example, the public IP is this one. So this is the public IP address of my DSL modem. And let me show you my public IP address. If I write what is my IP, I can see that this is my public IP address, 192.140. 150.95 is my public IP address. So this is the IP address assigned to my DSL modem. And this IP do the translation of each machine. So let's say this is Bilal and he wants to communicate with Facebook. So the packet or frame will come here. The DSL modem will say, hey, I cannot forward your packet with this source IP address. The DSL will remove this IP address from the packet and the DSL will put this IP address as a source IP address and it will forward the packet on this network. And if Facebook wants to reply, Facebook doesn't know about this one. Facebook only recognize this thing. So Facebook will respond to this IP address, which is assigned to this DSL modem. And then DSL modem will check the network address translation table and it will forward you the packet on the private network. Now the question is, what if we have another user, which is Sajid, and we have, for example, Azaz, and they all wants to communicate with the Facebook or any other service on the internet at the same time. How is it possible that a single public IP address will do the translation for all the machines? So basically in NET, we have three types: static NET, dynamic NET, and port address translation. So the public IP address will be same for all, but a random port will be added. So let's say, let me write here, for PC1, the public IP address will be the same, but the port number will be 1234. And same is the case for PC number 2, same IP address, but the port number will be different. Even just like in our computer, we open different ports, different tabs. So the IP address of our computer is same, but for each operation, for each process, a port number is assigned, right? Okay, now let me ask you a question. Let me give you another tough time. Let's say this machine IP address is also 10.0.0. Now, is there any problem? If this machine wants to communicate with Facebook and this machine wants to communicate with Facebook, is there any conflict or problem now?
No. Sir,
Reason?
can you hear me?
Because every DSL modem has a unique public IP address. So, yes, you are right now. Perfect. Right?
Mhm.
And our last topic of today is, let me tell you, if you want to assign IP address like this, let's say I'm going to assign 10.0.0.1. And you can see subnet mask. What is subnet mask? Subnet mask basically represent the status of the IP address. So this subnet mask mean that in this IP address, this there are 8 bits are on and the remaining are off. So these are the network bits and these are the host bits. And if I write 172.16.0.1, you can see 255.255. It means that 16 bits are on and 16 bits are off. And if I say 192.168.0.1, so subnet mask is basically, it's a separate topic. We will discuss it some other time, right? But basically, it gives you, it provides the status of the IP address, like which IP, how many bits are on, how many bits are off. And based on the subnet mask, you can assign IP addresses to computer. So let me go through the slides first. We already discussed this portion, and we also talked about public versus private IP addresses. And we also discussed about subnet mask, right? So I wish I could explain more in details, but because of the limited time, I will have to end my session now. And inshallah, we will connect next week, especially my class students. And I will try to make some other topics also available for the public so that they can learn something from our training as well. So let me save the recording.